Okay, we live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite YouTube channel. Hashtag KTLC Sports Talk with your host, Justin P. Uh, Today's a special episode. Got a very, very special guest on, man. This guy is like the godfather of YouTube, man. He the one who inspired me to get started, man. He's gonna be modest about it, but he's the man. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Justin Ingraven vids. Ingram, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, appreciate you having me on, man. Thank you, man.
Yes, sir. Well, for those who don't know you, which I highly doubt, tell them a little bit about what you do.
Uh, we just had fun with it, man. We talk Ravens on the YouTube channel. And we really just talk NFL just as a whole. And just do it in a way to where even the person who don't even have like much knowledge about football, 'cause I ain't even got much knowledge about football, but we just get on there and we have a good time. And it just I wanted to make a situation that was welcoming to everybody, whether it's somebody that's like an X and O's person, or somebody who just big on like contracts, or somebody who just they love all the craziness that happens with free agency, whatever you like. Hopefully you can find it on the channel. So the channel is Ingraven Vids, the Twitter, everything else, Instagram, it's all Ingraven Vids. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Make sure, man, if you haven't already subscribed, go subscribe, man. It's good stuff, man. I tune in every time you make a video, man. That's why I was so adamant about having them on, and I'm so appreciative they took time out of this busy day to come on here and chop it up with. All right, let's get into it. Let's recap the Baltimore Ravens draft. Pick number 14, Kyle Hamilton. What was going through your mind, when you saw it?
I was surprised. I was surprised because it was crazy as we had a lot of conversations about the possibility of if Kyle Hamilton dropped, what would the Ravens do if he was sitting there at 14 and the Ravens they hadn't moved around in the draft. I was wondering like what would they do? And a lot of times I was thinking, oh well, maybe since they got their safeties already, they got a Chuck Clark, they got a Marcus Williams, who they just signed this offseason. They even had Brandon Stevens playing as safety. They re-signed Tony Jefferson. You got Ardarius Washington coming back too. They re-signed Geno Stone as well. So they had a lot of safety. So I was thinking, I don't know. Maybe they might draft him, but maybe they might trade back and just try to get somebody else. But when they drafted him, I was like, oh wow. Okay, so they really did it. So they got like they already had a boatload of safety, but now they got another one. But I guess they just felt like they could not pass up on a generational talent like that. And I know a lot of people talked about how the 40 time it dropped him. That made him look like a less sexy pick to a lot of teams and whatnot. But I love how a lot of Ravens fans brought out that Ed Reed, his 40 time was around the same time as Kyle Hamilton. And Ed Reed certainly ain't look slow. He certainly knew how to cover that field. So I like the pick. It's an interesting pick, but I do like the pick. And I'm just wondering what's going to happen with Chuck Clark moving forward. If they're going to keep him around or if they're going to move off of him or what.
Yeah, my initial reaction was like, we got a effing steal. We got a steal. This guy was a top 5, top 10 talent, like you said, like the 40 time. Like people got to realize, football is not played on a straight line going 40.
Yeah.
If that's the case, guys like John Ross and Marcus, all these guys will be all pros every year. The game was just going to speed. Do it help? Yes, but it's not the end all be all. Anquan Bolton ran 4.7. He Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? So for him to slip like that, it was just crazy. And I saw it. I said, man, we got a real opportunity to get Kyle Hamilton. I said, yeah, I know we got safeties already, but man, you can have so much fun with a guy like him. You can go 3 safeties with Chuck Clark at the nickel on dime linebacker. Like I basically play that Anthony Levine role.
Yeah.
The box linebacker. So I was ecstatic, man. I was like, I did want probably Jermaine Johnson or something like that. But I was like, hey man, he's the best player on the board. Go get him. We can get Jermaine Johnson. Once I saw we traded back into the first. So talk about that. The trade of Marquise Brown, which led to us getting pick 23, which we traded back into 25.
Oh man, that was tough. That one hurt me. That one hurt me. But I do understand the why of the trade. Hollywood wanted out. He wanted out for the past couple years. And Ravens like, okay, you want out? We'll give you out. We can get a first round pick for you. Okay, we'll take it. So it was a trade that it works out for both sides because you put Hollywood in a good situation for him and the other two teams that was interested in him too, being the Chiefs and the Packers. I mean, he would have been in a good situation with good quarterbacks regardless. But him going to the Cardinals, he goes to with a quarterback that he already got a lot of chemistry with, that being Kyler Murray. So that's a phenomenal situation for him. And he got DeAndre Hopkins there too. Also got Rondale Moore. Also got AJ Green too. I know they said they probably going to trade Andy Isabella. But he got a nice little cast around him too. Zach Ertz as well. And even Max Williams. So that should be fun to see. And it's a more passing offense too. So that should suit Hollywood a lot better. And then for the Ravens, they got a first-round pick in exchange for a 2019 first-round pick. So for them to steal, it reminds me of Brandon Cooks, because with Brandon Cooks, he was a
first round pick at the
yes, is it? So yeah. So yeah, the same thing happened with him. With this dude, I don't even know if he was a first-round draft pick. I think he might
have. Like in the late 20s, 2014. Yeah.
Okay. But he kept getting flipped for first-round draft picks over and over. So it reminded me of that situation a little bit. But for the Ravens, it allowed them for them to get a first-round pick for somebody they drafted like 3 years ago. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So it says a lot about them. It says a lot about Hollywood as well and how the Cardinals felt about Hollywood. So both the team and the player, they both capitalized off the situation. And it was I appreciated that it was a smooth transition in this. It was a smooth trade. It wasn't one of them trades where it was all this back and forth, all this ugliness or whatnot. Probably maybe the ugliest thing that happened, Hollywood scraped everything off his Instagram, all the Raven stuff. That was it, but that really wasn't nothing at all. So I'm glad it didn't get ugly. And then it allowed them to go into that next draft pick at 25 with Tyler Lindenbaugh.
Yeah, like I said, once I saw them got back into 23, I said, who got traded? I'm thinking it was Chuck Clark initially because of the draft of Kyle Hamilton. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. But they said Marquise Brown. I said, oh. I said, I kind of had a feeling that was going to come because I knew long term he didn't want to be here, especially at a game after the Steelers when he made the
tweet.
The
soldiers.
Yeah. Paid in full. What's the point of having soldiers?
She ain't gonna use them, yeah.
That then Lamar said, you know what, I got to feed him the ball. That's my guy. He had some drops, so Twitter was lighting him up. So and like I said, last year he had a pretty productive year. He could have had more. He left. I want to say, I want to see if you agree with me. Not great. He left about 200 yards on the field.
Yeah, because he had the drops in the Lions games.
Right. Oh, 4 or 5 touchdowns, easy. So he could have had about 1,300 yards and about 12 touchdowns and about 120 something catches easily.
Yeah, and he dropped. Yeah, he dropped in the Lions game. That was probably his worst game. And he dropped in the Steelers game, the last Steelers game of the season.
He dropped 2 touchdowns in the Chargers game in the corner of the end zone. Yeah.
Well, I don't even remember, but yeah, it was rough.
Up big, so at that point it didn't really affect nothing. So that's why I don't remember. But the Tyler Lindenbaugh pick, I like it a lot. Like I said, complain about get Lamar offensive line, build the line, build the ball. So hey, that's what we did.
Exactly.
Bradley Bozeman, Makari, like I said, he could have been a good starting center, but he's better off at guard, being a swing tackle. So now we got the center position solidified for the next 10 years.
Yeah, I like how my favorite thing about Tyler Lindenbaugh, I know a lot of people saying he's the best center prospect to come out in a really long time. But
Travis Frederick.
Say that again.
Probably says Travis Frederick.
From the Cowboys.
Yeah.
But they probably my favorite thing about it will be the consistency, because Ravens, they haven't had consistency at the center position in forever because it's keep flip-flopping, because you had Matt Skura, but then he got hurt. Then you had Patrick McCary, then Bozeman, who had been at guard for the longest. Then you finally decided to put him at center. There was a little bit of Tristan Colon Castillo. And I know injuries and COVID, they had a lot to do with it too, but it's been just a lot of inconsistencies there at the center position. So now, before the draft, it was looking like Patrick McCary was going to be the starting center. And maybe Tristan Colon could still give him some competition, whatever. But now with them drafting Lindenbaum, that gives them somebody, not only their center of the future, but somebody who's recently played center in the past too. Before they had guys that had played some center, but maybe played some guard too. But now this gives you consistency. Man, with consistency, that can be the smooth snaps, because the quarterback to center exchange, it gotta be smooth, man.
Oh, for sure. We think you remember that Patriots game when they threw the ball over, snapped the ball over his head? Rain.
Oh man,
And in
that
the
game was
playoff
ugly,
game,
man.
and in the
And it was
playoff game when he got concussed. The ball
yeah, went way over his head, man. So I'm just excited about that consistency, man.
for sure. Like the last good center I liked was Ryan Jensen.
Oh yeah, he was
That-
nasty.
I was like, man, please find a way to pay him, man. Like, find a way to pay all man. When Tampa Bay re-signed him, I say,
Yeah, yeah. Jensen was my favorite play from him, and I know a lot of people, it may be their favorite play too, was when Flacco got knocked out, man, and Ryan Jensen came running over there and he charged at Kiko Alonso,
oh,
man. Nobody else did, but I
it,
always
it,
appreciated him extra for that.
oh he definitely he a soldier. He gonna ride for you. He ride for Brady the same way.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so got him at 25. So at now at pick 45, we get David Ajabo. He back with his old defense coordinator.
That was a tricky one right there, because no, the Ravens, I feel like the Ravens would be in win now mode, of course. But the David Ajabo pick, amazing pass rusher, amazing talent, and he would have been a first round pick had it not been for the injury. So
Sure.
with them getting him in a second, that's a steal. And I was thinking, I wonder if somebody could possibly get him in the first, because if they got him in the first, whether it be the Ravens or another team, they would have that 5th-year option. So they would
Yeah,
have one more year with him.
basically
Uh
go a semi red shirt. Yeah, he might come play later on, but he gonna miss at least probably half the season. So you can make sure he's 100%.
yeah. And so I wouldn't I'm not really expecting anything from him this year. I feel like he is somebody that if the Ravens get anything out of him, great. It would be a bonus. But that's the part that makes this pick really tricky, because right here, right now, anything that you get out of him will be a bonus. He can't really contribute right now. You hoping that he can, because hopefully all the rehab and everything goes smooth so he can get back on the field and whatnot. But yeah, you at the same time, you do not and you cannot rush it, because this is such a big investment and it could pay off for you in a big way down the road. And even hopefully this year, but this year I'm not really hoping for anything from him. So as the player himself, great pick, but the situation, and that's where it makes it tricky for me.
Yeah, I was thinking take him at 25 and then take Cam Jurgens, the center out of Nebraska, at 45. He's a good center as well. I think he went to Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken. He's 6'5", a little bigger, 15. So I was thinking that will probably be a good, like you just said, get that 5th-year option, because basically this year is going to be like basically a redshirt year for the most part. You
Right.
Adam Hill, the way you get the 5th-year option, then you get Cam Jurgens, who probably he was the number 2 ranked center behind Linderbaugh, so it's not a huge drop off, but
Yeah.
yeah. All right, the 3rd round pick. I was ecstatic about this pick too. I thought he was gonna be long gone. Travis Jones, defensive tackle out of UConn. We got him at number 76, and he had a 1st-round grade.
He's strong, man. I after we got him, that's when I had watched film on him, and I'm like, man, this dude, like, even when he don't get to the quarterback, there's so many times where he's still when he's engaged with the offensive lineman, and he's still just pushing them straight back, man, and into the quarterback. So even if he don't technically win his matchup, then he's still winning his matchup. And this is an excellent depth guy too. Because you got Calais Campbell, you got Michael Pierce, you got Justin Madubuike. And now you got like you said, a 1st-round talent, but you got him as another piece for that rotation at defensive line. And the Ravens, they lost Brandon Williams, and he's still a free agent right now. They lost Justin Ellis. He went to the Giants. So they had some holes there. And for a minute, they had lost Calais Campbell, but they ended up getting him back. And of course, Michael Pierce. So that was a really nice move. I was big on Jordan Davis. But this was like a nice little runner up
Yeah,
to that.
it's a good constellation. Yeah.
That's a good way to put it, man.
Oh yeah, I was happy about it. Like I said, this guy had a 1st-round grade, man. I'm like, I watched this film. I said, man, this kid is a dog, So if we can some way get him in the second round,
Mm-hmm.
plug him in there, let him rotate. And like I said, once Calais Campbell and all them guys, retire, he's gonna plug right in. And you got him, Meta Bootgate, and Roger Washington when you interior D line for a couple years. Because we get like we've been saying,
Oh
now
yeah.
got to get younger there. We did, man. That kid, that's a steal right there, 76. So
Mm.
I Mike McDonald's gonna have a lot of fun with his new pieces on defense.
Yeah, because he got a lot.
Pick 110. We took Daniel Falehe, big massive tackle out of Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. That dude is Godzilla. I think he like the biggest player in the NFL right now. And that I like it because it reminds me of sort of Orlando Brown Jr.-ish.
Yeah,
Because he just massive. That's a big dude, but it's a quality big dude, and he's somebody who it's a nice. I've been saying all off season for Ravens, especially with how last season went.
yeah,
Stay ready, so you ain't got to get ready. We know with Ronnie Stanley, his injury history is ugly. I don't think he played a full 16 to 17 games in his career. So and then of course with him coming back from this ankle surgery and whatnot, we hope that he can be back and stay back, but you just never know. So them having a Daniel Falele and them even keeping Jawan James around for now too, and then signing Morgan Moses. I just like that they upgraded the quality of the offensive line. And then with Tyler Lindenbaum, of course, like we talked about earlier. So I love that this is a possibility to where with their offensive line, Patrick McCary, like you mentioned earlier, he could just relax and he could be the swingman. He don't got to be forced into being a starter. Not that he's a bad starter, but for Patrick McCary to be a depth guy, that's a beautiful thing. For Jawan James to possibly be a depth guy if he makes the team, that's a beautiful thing. Like the Ravens, they have with them drafting Falele, that's a really nice piece, and is somebody that you could train and somebody that you could develop over time to be a starter, just in case for whatever happens with Ronnie Stanley.
yeah. I love the pick. Like I said, man, like we wanted to build a brick wall, man. We got the
Mm-hmm.
brick wall himself. Uh,
Yeah.
played rugby, man. You know what I mean? Remember, another Raven that played rugby ended up being real good.
Oh,
Hello,
Lodi Nada. Mm-hmm.
yeah. But he's athletic, got big feet. Of course, he won't have to get groomed up in there. But we got one of the best offensive line coaches out there, Joe D. Alexandris. He is the one of the best at offensive line play. He's been coaching for 40 years. So he's gonna get a lot out, big fella.
Mm-hmm.
So him and Morgan Moses, what I put on Twitter, I don't know if I think I tagged you in it. I don't know if you saw it. This how I would have the offensive line. This is just me personally. I would go for Leahy, right tackle, go ahead, let him start, get his little, mistakes out the way. So where he
Okay.
probably entrenched there. Slightly stay where he at the right guard. Center,
Mm-hmm.
the ball course, left guard. This is where it gets a little fun at. Morgan Moses.
Mm. Oh,
But some
you.
guards try to steal like it's not a real big kind of guy. You know,
Yeah,
put the
I
right
feel you.
guard. The way the signing won't go to waste. Then
Right.
of course Ryan Stanley assuming he's healthy. Then have Jawan James backing up at the right tackle.
Uh-huh.
Uh, Powers and Ben Cleveland backing up both guards. And then
Mm.
you Tyree is the backup left tackle or right tackle, whichever one you feel he's comfortable with.
Well, if that's the case, if Ravens would be healthy and the offensive line stay healthy, then they probably will break their own rushing record from 2019 if that's the case.
The ball will probably get sacked. Probably like it will be under the team because that's a big brick wall. You got two big
Yeah.
guards at 330 pounds, two nimble tackles, and a mobile center that's strong as hell.
Mm.
Because
Yeah,
I look
man.
at you, I go with your best five up front. Oh, because
Yeah.
majority of the offensive line, except for center, they all can play multiple positions.
Mhm.
Guards can play tackle, play guard, etc. Center's the only one that's a position that everybody can't do because everybody can't snap the ball and block. That's
Yeah, we
now,
seen from experience as
right.
Ravens fans.
Guard and tackles, they can pretty much be interchangeable for the most part. So
Mm.
I think Morgan Moses at guard, and with that beef right there, man, that'll help out a lot. Plus, if Landon Ball go against a big center, because he's only 290 pounds, he may get up to about 305.
Mm.
He could help out, and
Oh
that's a
yeah,
lot
for sure.
coming down helping you out with 330 pounds. So that's
Yeah,
just that's just my idea, you know.
I mean, and that would be the ultimate. What we've been, like you said, what we've been asking for. That would be the ultimate protection for Lamar Jackson. Because we just do not want to see for the third year straight where he gets knocked out and can't even finish the season.
Yeah,
So yeah, Ravens definitely they've been investing in this offensive line, which we certainly appreciate. So we see how it works out.
oh, yeah, definitely. So 119, they took Jalen Armour Davis out of Alabama, another Alabama corner.
Mhm.
Yeah,
With him, so I watched film on him after they picked him up. He to me, he reminded me like of a slightly taller Ladarius Webb, man. To where
okay,
you could move him around and different. He could play outside corner, he could play inside corner. He's a solid tackler. He ain't the most physical in the world, but he's a solid tackler. He ain't afraid to get in there and wrap up.
right.
And they needed this. Like you lost Jimmy Smith, Tavon Young, Anthony Avery, Chris Westry. You lost so much in the secondary. So Eric DeCosta in the presser a couple weeks ago, he talked about how they probably going to double dip at corner. And even though it was the Liars luncheon, I don't think anybody felt like he was lying there because we knew Ravens like needed secondary help and depth big time. I thought it may come a little bit early in the draft, but yeah, they get a solid guy right here.
Yeah, I dodged a little film on him as well. I like the fact that he played at Alabama. That's
Mhm.
that's a pipeline. Hasn't been really like as of late because been more Oklahoma, but Oz is still in the building, so he probably like, man, Eric might want to look at this kid right here, man.
Yeah, that's true, man.
One Alabama corner and Anthony Avery. Wish him the best in Vegas, but let's get this kid right here. He's
Mm,
6'1", what, almost 200 pounds. He played against good competition. That's what I like. He played against the George Pickens of the world.
mm.
He played against Jamison Crowder. Not Jameson. I'm sorry, Jameson Williams,
Williams. Mm,
John Metchie, and all those guys. He played against all those top SEC receivers. So he's seen good competition. Like I said, they say only been a 1 year starter. A lot of guys only a 1 year starter. So
I think Patrick Queen was.
Patrick Queen, like I said, he's even guys for other teams like Greedy Williams was on that 1 year starter. He still
Mm.
was second. So I just think with is Chris Hua still the defensive backs coach?
I believe he is because yeah, I don't think they made any changes there.
Yeah, so they got him coaching him, Mac McDonald coaching him. So he's gonna be a-okay. Then like I said, he's gonna come in and be like he compete for the nickel spot over like fourth corner. So he's gonna be going against teams third and fourth corners. Like he's not gonna be going against Jamar Chase and T Higgins that often. So he'll be fine. Plus the pass rush should be a lot better. I'm sure Mike McDonald's not gonna have guy out here dropping in the coverage 20 yards down the field like wait. I got tired. I know you got tired of that because you lose, on
Oh man.
places get done. Nobody.
Ye-
But all in
Yeah.
all, I was hoping for Kobe Bryant, but the Seahawks took him. So, but
Mhm.
he was the next on my list. To get right there. So
Cool, man.
128. Who took Charlie Collar, tight end.
Hmm.
What your thoughts on
He
that?
for him, when I watched him, he reminded me of a slightly slower Mark Andrews. Um, and I saw from him they did use him. He was productive, but they used him in the passing game, but they used him a lot as a blocker too. And that's important as a tight end, especially in Ravens offense, obviously. So I think he'll definitely get his shot with the Ravens. Now, I wonder, and I know we're about to address it in a little bit, but I wonder just what's going to happen with Nick Boyle. Because the Ravens, they love Nick Boyle. They love that dude. But they have Andrews, Collar, likely who we're going to talk about in a little bit, Boyle, and I think Oliver's still on the squad too. So they have 5 tight ends right now. They're not going to keep 5 tight ends.
I think he's 4 at the most, maybe.
Mhm. So yeah, we'll see. But if they did keep 4, then I could actually see Boyle staying. But if they kept 3, then I think Boyle and Oliver would be the odd man out. But I mean, we'll see. But yeah, for Collar, solid guy, red zone guy too. Big red zone target. for Lamar Jackson, another big red zone target for Lamar Jackson at tight end. So yeah, he can when he get a shot, he'll be able to make a positive impact for the squad.
I liked. I mean, I didn't. I was like, damn, we took another tight end, but I get.
Man.
They want to go back to that 2-3 tight end set.
Hmm.
I get it. I like it. I watched this film, man. 6'7", got he's real tall. Like you say, he's like a poor man's.
Yeah.
He made Brock Purdy look good, man. I guess not good enough to get him drafted sooner, but
Oh.
he made him look real good, man. He can go up. He can flex out too. They flexed him out at Iowa State. He caught jump balls in the back of the end zone. So, and that's what we struggled at in the red zone, scoring touchdowns in the red zone. So,
Hmm.
remember I told you, I think last year when I sent you a question for subscribers, I said they need to go ahead and flex the tight ends out more on the perimeter and get mismatches.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, and I
we
like.
don't get no corner 6'7" in the league. So, or safety. Throw it up, let them catch it, man. That's how points is points, whether they come from the tight ends, the wide receivers,
Mhm.
or the running back. 8 points.
And I
Utilize,
oh, my
but I'm not
fault.
saying no, no. Go ahead. What you going to say, Ingraven?
No, what you were just talking about, with them just flexing a tight end out wide, and just creating that mismatch. Um, Ravens, they didn't really do too much of like the jump balls in the back of the end zone, the fade routes. They didn't do too much of that at all. And I don't know if that's a Lamar thing or if that's a coaching thing, or just a blend of both. But I really hope that this year that they incorporate that, because it's these small fixes that I feel like could make a huge difference in Ravens offense, and just the efficiency and the productivity of Ravens offense.
Yeah. So then, what was that one? What we picked? That was it 139, right? They took the punter, Jordan Stout.
Oh, that one. I was a little initially. I was like, oh, what?
I,
But
I didn't like it. I understand it, but I didn't like it.
nah, I mean, they this has been a lot of talk from today with the whole Calvin Austin story. Um I guess Ravens just they value special teams, and what special teams is important.
For sure.
But this kind of reminded me of the way that the most of the draft has went as far as the defense. Then really like this offseason too, they really been showing like, hey, we are trying to build up our defense big time. So if you have a good punter, he can help your defense that much more and make their situation easier. So that's what I was thinking about it. And I was like, oh wow, a punter in the fourth. So I guess that's the end of Sam Cook too. Whether he
Yeah.
retiring or getting cut or whatever, they definitely moving on, because you're not keeping two punters on a roster, and you're not gonna get rid of a punter who you drafted in the fourth round. No, yeah, Sam Cook is done.
Like I said, I understood it, didn't like it. I felt like that could have got addressed maybe in a 6th round pick or even as an undrafted free agent. I think a punter's not too hard to get. I'm not trying to, definitely special teams is good. Don't get me wrong, field position.
Yeah.
I love Justin Tucker. I love the whole Wolf Pack, but that I think that could have got addressed somewhere else. It's not gonna be hard to find. Pete Tangles are not kicking. Oh shit, we gotta find this next punter. It's not like, what I mean. It's not that. It's just they could have just. I think they could have just addressed that with the 6th round, because at that point, like, okay, 6th round pick, whatever. All right, or undrafted free agent punter. Like I'm pretty sure that's unless he can punt from one end all the way to the other and pin people back like 5 yard line every time. It's like it was kind of a wasted pick. Like at that pick, you just said Calvin Austin. I didn't want him because I mean we just had one small receiver that was fast that could play.
Mm.
So and he had drop problems just like Hollywood at Memphis. So me personally, I wanted Romeo Dubs out of Nevada. The Packers ended up taking, I think, the very next pick.
Mm.
200 pounds, man. And him and Carson Strong was putting on the show up there. He reminded me of like a Dez Bryant type, man. Big physical. But he ran faster than Dez did. But Dez ran 4.5, he ran 4.4. So
Oh.
that's what that pick. But like I said, I didn't like it, but I understand it. See the 2.1 for Sam Cup, and then use that money to go get a veteran somewhere, another position. But it was okay. So what 141? We took Isaiah Likely, right?
Yep, that is the tight end. Even though he's more so a wide receiver. With him, they they use him everywhere. And he that's how I could see the Ravens doing the same thing. Now I wonder, like, they're gonna obviously be using a lot of tight ends this year. You could tell there's a high value on the tight ends this year. Um, so he's gonna be somebody that gets moved around a lot. Whether he's next to the offensive line on the line of scrimmage, whether he flexed out wide in the slot out, wherever they can move this dude around so many different places.
Yeah,
And he's a wide receiver, man. He's a tight end, but he's a wide receiver. And he got some real good speed, man. He got good speed. His production, I forget exactly what the numbers are. I was looking at him the day that we drafted him, but his production is like
I watched
crazy,
a
man.
video on him. He was like he had 5 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns. Then
And
he
then
went
he
up
exploded. Yeah.
12. Yeah,
Yeah, that was it. I appreciate that. But yeah, so it's you're getting somebody who is productive, and you get somebody who you can do more than one thing with on offense. He doesn't just have to be a traditional tight end or whatnot. But he's not gonna be a traditional wide receiver. He's gonna give you a good blend of both.
yeah. He reminds me of Antonio Gates. Antonio Gates never
Ooh.
played in like that. You rarely seen his hand in it. Of course, he got ways to go. I'm just saying, as far as the size and the body type.
Mm-hmm.
For not saying he's gonna come to the Hall of Fame, nothing like that. But that's how you see how the Chargers used him. They flexed him out a lot, moved him around. He rarely had his hand in the
I never thought about that before, but yeah, you're right, man.
He's gonna be an H back. Like I said, he's gonna basically be like how Chris Cooley and
Ooh, well, you took it back with Chris Cooley, man.
yeah, yeah. So he's gonna use like the cause mismatches with those smaller DBs and then them linebackers who probably not twitchy enough to run with him. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, and that's another guy you can use in the red zone as well. We got to do better in the red zone because sometimes take 3, man. We got to get 7. So tight ends, man, flex him out. You see the Chiefs with Travis Kelsey, they flex him out.
Yeah, they put him everywhere, man.
Darren Waller, they flex him out, let him go get in the end zone. George Kittle, so forth and so forth. So they got to use those tight ends to use them to your disposal, man. Don't just use the middle of the field. Use them in the red zone as well when it's going to count.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pick, man, it was pretty good. So 196, the last pick of the draft, it took who was it? Tyler Brady, running
Mm.
back, Missouri. Give me a thought.
He pass blocking wasn't the best, but it ain't like he gonna be out there blocking anyway. For when he does get out there, I did really like his burst. I like his burst because he got soft hands too. They use him in the passing game a lot. But he got a real nice little takeoff, man. And that speed is something that it will go along well with a JK, with a Gus Edwards, and we'll see what happens with Justice Hill. I mean, there's a possibility that they keep 4. I know you still got
Tyson Williams.
Tyson Williams there too. You still got Nate McCrary there too. So yeah, they got a little stable of running backs. Obviously, everybody ain't gonna make it. There's gonna be some guys that get put on the practice squad. But as far as Beatty, a very explosive runner. He is a patient runner too. I felt like he makes really good decisions, and he can make quick decisions too, because he can. They use him a lot on screens. So with screens, you got to be patient because you got to wait for your offensive line to set it up. So he was good at that because he caught a lot. I think he caught 52 or 54 passes last year. So
Mm-hmm.
he comfortable catching the ball. But he's also comfortable again making those quick decisions, being able to read the defense fast because you got to be able to do that, especially in Ravens offense too as a running back. So that was a good way to end it out, and then it gives you another insurance policy, just in case with a JK or just in case with a Gus, or just in case with a Justice Hill, because all of them coming back from season-ending injuries. You cannot put your full trust in all 3 of them. You hope that they come back and are healthy, and it's looking like they're gonna be straight, but still, you just never know because setbacks happen, accidents happen, stuff happens. So again, you got to stay ready. So you got to get ready.
Yeah, I like the position, just not the player. He's good, but 5'9", 199 pounds. I was hoping we get a bigger back, somebody like 6'1", probably like 215, 220, that can handle picking up them, that can handle running between the tackles.
Mm.
Not saying that he can't. I just smaller backs. They normally want to bounce everything, get to
Mm.
that one. You know, I'm a big guy, so I like big players. So I was hoping a guy like Brian Robinson would be available there, but the Commanders too. Damian Pierce as well, but he got well. Yeah, I took him to the Patriots. The two running backs I had like right. He can catch on the backfield though, and he definitely can
Hmm.
team apart kicks and punts because he's more involved in the receiving games. I'm trying to for what we got him at, was a solid, you know, high rich, low reward. I mean, high reward, low reward. It's a 6 round pick though. If he don't work, six. But like you said, so they can line him up in the slot from time to time.
Hmm.
He could be a good little safety valve for Lamar. But it wasn't horrible. I just think he could have been a better player. But hey, welcome to the squad, Brady. So
Hmm.
like you said, we didn't we ain't gonna be too long. I know you gotta get out of here, so real quick. Since we didn't draft any receivers, I know all about giving the young guys a shot, but come playoff time, because we will be in the playoffs, you're gonna need a veteran. You're gonna need a veteran receiver because you can't have a run with just inexperienced guys with little to no playoff experience. You
Mm.
know, going into Kansas City or going into LA or wherever, and you expect these guys to just make plays out of nowhere. So, what veteran receivers do you think we can have have your eye on? I'll tell you mine. You know,
Oh man. Um, if we talking free agents, oof.
agents via trade, however.
Oh, trade, then I would DK Metcalf would be my favorite one. Um,
So,
Debo Samuel, I would like that one as well. I just don't see the Ravens trading for either one. But the Ravens, feel free to surprise us if you like though. But as far as free agents, I what I could see the Ravens doing would be somebody like a Julio Jones. I know there've been somebody today. I don't believe it, but I've been seeing somebody put out like a rumor about the Ravens being interested in T.Y. Hilton. I think it's one of those troll accounts though, but I really hope that doesn't happen. I was never a big fan of the Ravens and T.Y. Hilton together.
okay.
I just don't think it would be a good match. Jarvis Landry's out there too, and he will be straight, but I just feel like we really need a deep threat too. We got a lot of underneath guys, got a lot of like slot guys and whatnot, but I just feel like we need a deep threat. Will Fuller's out there. Will Fuller's also always hurt, but Will Fuller's out there too. Just I'm a little worried about the options right now. I'm a little worried and concerned about the options that are out there. And I don't know what Ravens are gonna do. They got me very confused right now because if you just look at the draft and look at what they did and what they didn't do, then it feels like they gotta have something that they getting ready to make happen. But I don't know, man.
Me personally, these are a couple names I just, I did my research on their contracts and all that.
Hmm.
I would say DK and Debo, but the reason I ain't say them because they got to get re-signed, and we know the Ravens are not going to pay them guys through 25, $30 million a year. It's
Right.
not.
Hmm.
Marvin Jones is a name that I looked at. His contract is not real like his base salary is 3.5 and 4.5 for the next 2 years. So that's somebody that could probably we can trade for Jacksonville. They just went and got Christian Kirk and picked up Zay Jones. So Marvin Jones could be a trade candidate. Remember, he's Brown was in the eight when he was with Cincinnati. Not a huge name, but like I say, solid 6'1", 6'2", 215 pounds. Been a number one before, had 1,000 yards before with Detroit. So it won't cut. It's his contract is very doable. And another one would be Kenny Galladay, who we initially wanted.
Oh.
Said although they tried to say they were gonna shop Kadarius Toney, they said they're not doing that no more.
Right.
Kenny Galladay or Darius Slayton can be moved. So either one of those two would be good. Be good because Slayton is a deep threat. He got speed. But Kenny Galladay, 6'4", better number one receiver. He probably,
Hmm.
he just want to win at this point. You ain't gonna get up to Josh. You pay him with Bateman. Them two on the outside with Duvernay in the slot and Prochet and Wallace, and then he can get to them guys along the way. So That's one guy. And Julio Jones, of course, like I said, he already had all his statistical stuff. He didn't
Yeah.
Brown, he'd been offensive player of the year. He just want to win a Super Bowl. Yeah, I think that 28-3 still sitting in the back of his mind. So,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
like you said, Jarvis Landry's another one I looked into. He'll be a good fit as well. He can play outside and in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate the T.Y. Hilton move. I don't hate it. Like I said, if nothing else, he brings veteran leadership, and he won't command a lot of targets. He just always injured. And then another
Mm-hmm.
one, Will Fuller. If he can stay healthy, burner. He'll take the top off. Nothing else.
Right.
Try to put safeties in a box and all that to start the run game. He can run right past you for 6. So,
Mm-hmm.
OBJ, I wouldn't mind it.
Oh,
You just got to see how his timetable on his injury.
yeah.
And another wild card for me is Michael Thomas.
Oh, from the Saints.
They just drafted Chris Olave, so we can trade him. He's under contract and just rework his contract, restructure it, make it a little bit more team friendly. With his body size and all that. So yeah, Slant Man would be a good fit for Lamar. He'd be a big target for him. Like I said, we all know Mike can catch the jump balls too, and like I say, he's tough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, those some good options. And Michael Thomas is one that I think about a little bit off and on. I just wonder because yeah, his contract, like when you look at his contract and compare it to like the new receiver contract, I'm sure Ravens would be like, oh, okay, well that actually ain't too bad.
It's a bargain. It's a bargain. It's a bargain.
Mm-hmm. So we're
Uh,
gonna see, man. Mm.
and Gray, I know you gotta get out of here, man. So thank you for coming on, man. Y'all all can check this out on YouTube, and and I'm had an audio version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts as well, man. Thank you so much, man.
No, ain't nothing. I appreciate you having me on, man.
So we'll definitely do this again, man. When your show back here, man. It's always good talking football with you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Everyone, you have an amazing day, man. I'll talk to you guys later on when I have Steve White show, and that's gonna be at 5 p.m. Eastern. So make sure y'all check that out. Love you guys. I'm out.